Hey, Eastmark. Welcome to a podcast that is not just about a place on a map, but more importantly, the people that make this place unique. My name is David Gerizzo. I'm a Mesa native, a husband and dad, a realtor by day, and a podcast host by night. So come along as we get to know some of our neighbors here on All About Eastmark. So good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
This has been a long time coming, I feel like. I think we were talking about this months ago before this diner opened. And for those that are listening, we are in, I guess it was about a year ago. We're in the diner right now. I don't think I've taken this show on the road. I'm usually sitting at my desk in my home office talking to someone via Zoom. So this is so much better, especially with the hot coffee and everything you've got this morning. We were hoping to get it scheduled, last year. And you guys were just a little busy trying to get shop opened up. So I'm glad we could finally sit down and get this done. I've been looking forward to it. And Derek, it's been awesome to get to meet you. Erich has been on the All About Eastmark podcast before. It's been probably a couple years when Jeremy and I sat down with you, and we were really focused back then on the farm and the coffee shop and tacos, and we had a great conversation. But a lot has changed and evolved since then. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Let me introduce you guys. Erich, why don't you start, since you're the returning guest, and you guys are sharing a microphone, so hopefully this will work this morning. But Sure. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, like the 60-second version, who you are, and what you do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Erich Schultz. We own Steadfast Farm. That's kind of where we got our start in kind of urban, suburban farming, farming small scale but high production. So trying to make a lot out of a little, land-wise. We've moved around the valley a few times, started in Agritopia, we're down in Queen Creek, and then came to a deal with the developers at Eastmark to put a farm here, and we've been here for about 5 years. Started with just the farm, small little farm store, and throughout the years that's the store. By square footage hasn't grown, but the abundance within the store has, and the busyness or popularity of it. And back in 2021, actually 4 years today, we opened the coffee shop.
Really?
Yep.
To the day.
To the day.
Oh, happy birthday to the coffee shop. 4 years?
4 years.
Okay.
Yep. And so we started as a trailer in front of the farm store, and operated that way for maybe a year and a half, and then ended up kind of renovating the store to integrate it into the farm store so it could be kind of a cohesive experience. And that's been trucking, and I guess back in October we opened our second location of the coffee shop in Gilbert, inside the air guitar convenience store at Higley and Ray.
Okay.
So we're serving coffee and tacos there as well now.
You can't get away from Agritopia, I guess.
Right? Yeah. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
And then the diner, we started working on midsummer and renovating it, and kind of putting together the vision for it, and we opened that here in mid-January. So
nice.
Yeah.
So mid-January 2025, the diner's open here at Eastmark Steadfast Diner. This little corner of Eastmark has been a popular and much-loved spot for a long time. I can say that even as like a personal testimony. I remember this plot of land back in my day, before any of this was here. We moved in, and we just had a straight, clear shot of just dirt, right? I mean, I remember when they were building this, the Mark was already here before any houses were here, but this was just blank.
Yeah.
And someone had the idea to throw an old diner, what is this, 1958? 58?
Yeah.
1958 diner on the back of a truck and ship it out to the desert and plant it right here. So here we are. It's gone through different ownership and management and whatnot, and it's kind of been reimagined recently, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But first of all, want to talk with our other guest, Derek, and hear a little bit about you, Derek, and give us your 60 to 180 second summary of who you are.
I'll use all 180 seconds.
Okay, go for
Just
it.
kidding. So Derek Christensen. I am the executive chef of Steadfast Diner. And I've been cooking and chefing for quite a while now.
Okay.
Before this, I ran a fun kind of a pop-up, a very loose, lighthearted thing at a natural wine bar downtown, Savage. And that was kind of a break after dedicating most of myself and running Bacanora, a Sonoran restaurant that was highly renowned for our wood-fired cookery. Did that for almost 3 years, and that was it was a long, beautiful, intense moment of cooking wonderful food, and that kind of I've been cooking in the valley for a long time, and that was definitely heightened, elevated my my presence for sure. And before that, I ran an outdoor catering company. We did farm dinners.
Oh yeah.
Ran that for quite some time. Did some dinners on the farm here.
Okay.
And around the time I was starting off that company in 2017 or so, when I first moved back to the valley, I actually needed a little break from the kitchen after my first executive chef run, and needed to kind of find to myself what farm to table meant. Because I was running a high-end farm to table restaurant, and the meaning of that was always it's something you, as a chef, you want to do, you want to make it happen. It doesn't always work out financially, or working with partners, it's not always the priority.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool to say and tell about yourself. So after running a high-end farm table restaurant, moved back to the valley, and I just needed to figure out what that actually meant. And I figured the best way to figure that out would be to work on a farm.
Okay.
So I showed up at a farmer's market one day and met Eric, and I asked him, I said,
Oh, no way.
"Hey, are you hungry?" And he looked at me and was like, "Do you have any experience?" I'm like, "No, not a field, no, not at all." He's like, "Well, but I'm a chef. Chefs can get themselves in certain places.
You've never pulled a carrot out of the ground, but you've chopped plenty of them.
I've chopped plenty of them.
Yeah,
Chopped
okay.
a ton of them.
Yeah.
And yes, that's when we first met. He was like, "All right, show up next week at the farm." And so I ended up working a season as I was starting off this company, just kind of getting my mind right on what farm to table actually meant.
Cool. Wow. That's awesome. Where's home for you?
Central Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're Phoenician.
I'm a Phoenician. I was born in California originally.
Okay.
Did most of my growing here. Left a few times, spent some time in Flagstaff, Washington State. Spent a lot of time on the road, traveling around.
That's awesome.
But back here in the valley.
That's awesome. Eric, I'm going to put you on the spot. Derek here is an award-winning chef, from what I hear.
He is.
That's all the scuttlebutt. Scuttlebug?
Scuttlebutt.
But okay, good.
I talked to pirates. It's true. It's a true story.
Parlay. So tell us a little bit about his awards, or anything that you know about him and like his background. It'd be fun to hear it from you.
I mean, I probably don't know. He's a pretty humble guy, so I don't probably know many of the things. But I think most recently, James Beard nominee when he was at the Bacanora, and I think departed the restaurant before he could collect his award. But
wow.
But still well deserved.
Yeah.
And he's done, I think, a lot of things. He's done some stints on Food Network, from winning Chopped.
Okay, Chopped winner, yeah.
Winner, Cutthroat Kitchen is another one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
with Alton Brown and
okay.
Yeah, I mean he's done a lot of things. One of the really fun things about Derek is he's always changing and trying different things, different cuisines. That he has a passion for a lot of different things, and so from burgers to Mexican food to Scandinavian cuisine, like he's all over the place with creating delicious food and knocks it out of the park in all those ways. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys connected at a farmer's market originally, and we're working together, getting your hands dirty, shoveling manure, whatever you do on a farm. And then how did this come about, this idea of doing this diner?
Sure.
So even before that, how we stayed in touch along the way. Obviously, when you work with each other, you create something. But over the years, running different projects, different restaurants, different things, opening up restaurants. One of the anytime I could, I'd be like, all right, where's some aspect of Steadfast going to fit into this menu?
Cool.
Even if it was little, even if it didn't make sense, I'd be like, there's gonna be something. I'm gonna order something, just to support obviously the farm and Eric and everybody, but also to continuously represent, because there's only so many good, true, local, beautiful farms. So every opportunity you get to highlight the produce on a menu,
Sure.
you do it. So over the years, there's been plenty of projects, plenty of restaurants, and we kind of more or less stayed in touch that way to some extent. And then, sometimes Eric was the delivery driver that day.
Yeah.
Show up in the morning, and be like, and we catch up.
Yeah.
Which was a beautiful thing, and yeah, so
I'm-
staying in touch through farm and produce.
Yeah. And you were cooking and chopping and chefing, probably this entire time. Even when you're working on a farm, you're still trying to figure out ways to incorporate that into whatever you're making in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now you get to do that all day and night.
All day and night. Yeah. But yeah, so we were actually just catching up on this, or the very particular memory I had probably 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, 3 or so. And so I'd been to the diner before, because I'd come out and hang out at the farm, and Eric asked me, I was prepping, because chefs also cook sometimes, and they prep food, and if you're running the thing, you're running the thing.
Yep.
But so I was all hot and sweaty one morning. He came and he dropped off, and one of those times we were catching up. And he's like, "What do you think about maybe doing a quick casual spot at the diner next to the farm?" And that was kind of in the earlier middle heights of Bacanora, and I just looked at him, and he knew it was a stretch, and I was just like, it sounds like a good idea. Sure, I think so. And because I was on a different wavelength at the time.
Totally.
And yeah, and we've talked about it since since the diner's been around, since the farm's been around. And then he reached out, this last summer, and this was kind of on my, more or less sabbatical. I was doing the Norwegian Scandinavian pop-up.
Okay.
Which was the food was serious, but everything else about it was unserious.
Yeah.
I did it once or twice a week at a wine bar. And he asked me, I was like, actually, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a fantastic time. Like, let's do this. And let's crush it.
Yeah.
How hard was that transition going from Bacanora, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Was that, I don't know about it. Is it pretty high-end, upscale kind of place, or? So
it's to call it high-end is one thing. It's renowned, and we served very elevated Sonoran cuisine.
Okay.
So all we had was one giant 6-foot wood-fired grill. That's what everything came off of.
Okay.
Sonoran cuisine, but with the knowledge and essence of French cooking technique.
Okay.
So elevated Mexican food.
Okay. So, I mean, transitioning from that, obviously you've done a lot of different kinds of dishes and cuisines and environments in which you've chefed. I don't know if that's a verb, but
I like it.
Yeah, we'll do
Even
it.
if it's not.
Yeah. So, how difficult of a transition has it been to come to this old school diner? And we'll talk a little bit about the diner motif in a minute. But for you, as far as cuisine, and then even like the environmental space in which you and the team are working day in and day out.
Yeah, absolutely. The transitionally not difficult at all.
Awesome.
I'm a flexible person in general.
Yeah.
But it's, and there's certain things, kind of touched on what Eric said earlier. Cuisine wise, when you're passionate about food and you study and you spend the better half of your life studying food and how to cook it, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. Especially, in a casual setting like this as well. The biggest thing is the who you're working with.
Yeah.
Who you're mentoring now, because the transition is there were a lot of people at Baccano that wanted to work there because it was a cool place, it was a hip place. And now we have a wonderful team of people out from East Mesa, and there's a very different vibe, and training and teaching and mentoring these young folks is a completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's the biggest transition. But operationally, the diner is not a huge transition there.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like you're working out of an Airstream, like a food truck kitchen. I mean, if anyone's looked through there, it's tight.
Absolutely, and that's kind of one of the cool things that Eric's mindset is, and mine has been for a long time too. Being in kitchens not indifferent from this is how much can you do with so little?
Yeah.
Most kitchens I've worked in or ran have been very small. It's like, how much can we do with this?
Right.
And that catering company I ran was all outdoors. We would set up grills, build fires outside.
Awesome.
What can we do? What can we build, and how much can we do with it?
Yeah. Yeah. With a little space, confines. It seems to me, Eric, this goes back to conversations we've had in the past about this place, and it seems to me that in this current evolution of this restaurant, you guys have really re-envisioned what it means to be a diner. And I remember talking with you about it, and I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned, I think, one of my favorite movies is Road to Perdition. And there's a scene or two, it's been forever since I've seen it, but where Tom Hanks is there, his character with his son, and they're having dinner or a slice of pie in the diner, and then Jude Law later comes through, I think. And, it's one of those roadside diners in the middle of Iowa or wherever back in the day. And there are two things that seem, in my mind, essential to a diner: a cup of soup and a slice of pie, right? And being able to have a sandwich or a burger or something is also there. Mm-hmm. So it seems like you guys have really gotten back to something like that with that old school diner motif. Tell us a little bit about that and your envisioning of it.
Sure. We wanted to, I guess, honor what it was, which was a diner, right? And so they brought in this old diner that had been built in Kansas and been shipped to Nebraska and was there for a long time, and then kind of came out of repair and sat in Colorado until it was kind of renovated. Mm-hmm. And so they brought it here, and I mean, it has a lot of quirkiness and charm just in what it is. And this Valentine Diner Company, their whole slogan back in the day was, feeding America 9 seats at a time. So there's 9 bar stools inside, and that was the entire restaurant. It was like basically the size of a single wide trailer with the kitchen and the bathroom. Everything was all within that, and you'd order this out of the catalog, and they'd ship it to you on a train, and you just plop it on the side of the road and do your thing. And so it's not really, I think, realistic to only have 9 seats in this day and age and the economics of that. And So yeah, it's been expanded on with this additional kitchen space off the back. But the bones were here, and we wanted to kind of just bring that back and put a Steadfast kind of spin on it with, like, we have this unique opportunity with being next to the farm, and that's been kind of our anchor and kind of been our where all of our kind of everything has come from, was from the foundation of the farm. And so we wanted to make sure that the farm played a big role in it, and where the farm wasn't able to contribute, we could work with other purveyors and friends in Phoenix to kind of tell other people's stories and so yeah, I mean, we wanted to do essentially dinery food, but with the farm to table spin, bring, instead of just that, and Derek can speak more to this because this is a lot of his passion of that, instead of farm to table being this only this high-end exclusive thing for certain people to enjoy, that anybody can come and enjoy a delicious meal with high-quality ingredients and produce that was harvested feet away, hours before in some cases, and I think that's a special thing that we wanted to make sure we focused on. So yeah, I think that's it. So there's a lot of fun, from the beef, that we get from Capital Farms in Wickenburg, and we've been working with them using like their brisket and our tacos for a while. So when we did this, to bring them in to a greater extent, and local Arizona-grown potatoes, and then the French fries from Freet Street, who is out of Scottsdale, and cocktail mixers from Iconic Cocktail, in Phoenix here. And so there's just like these layers and layers. Noble bread, so same bread and pastries we sell at the farm store, they're baking all of our buns and rye bread for all the sandwiches and that. And so it's fun to connect and work with all of our friends. And for me, it's full circle because I've been on the other side of this, where being a purveyor selling to restaurants, and that now having a restaurant, and then working with, in some cases, like people that have purchased from me, I'm now purchasing from them. So like Arizona Wilderness has been a huge supporter of the farm for years and years, and so now to carry 2 of their beers on tap and other beers in cans from them is a fun kind of full circle thing for me.
That's huge. I love that ecosystem that you guys are a part of, but really promoting and supporting locally. And I mean, you've been doing that for probably most of your career in this world, but I'm sure it's a lot of fun to be on the other side of it.
It is.
And I love, that focus that you guys have in, serving quality local products. You look around, everything from the coffee and, like you said, the brisket beef and the tacos at the coffee shop, to the burger patties, to obviously the produce that, hours earlier might have been picked. That's pretty incredible. You wash it really well, right?
We do. We grow it really clean also.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, exactly.
If there's a bug or two in there, it's only because it's organic.
Say that again?
If there's a bug or two in there, it's only because it's organic. That's right.
Good fiber. Yeah. Little ladybug never hurt anybody. That's incredible. Talk just a little bit more, Derek, about that relationship between farm and table, literally. Not the cliche, not the trendy idea that, is put as a tagline on some menus or restaurants, but talk to us about like what it means to you to legit be farm to table.
1000%. So the funny thing is, most food comes from a farm.
Yeah.
Could be a ranch, but
Yeah.
depending on what you're eating. All food comes from a farm, and all food ends up on generally some form of a table. So it's there's a lot lost in translation there.
Yeah, exactly.
The important part is what farm that is.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of styles of farming, and what people say are farm to table. It's what matters most is the farm
Yeah.
and the farmer and what they're doing and how they're growing what they're growing. That's the important part.
Yeah.
And that's something that's lost on a lot of people. It all comes from a farm.
Yeah.
You got to be specific about what style of farming you're promoting.
Okay.
And that's, when I met Erich and talked to him more and more about Steadfast Farm. It's
Yep.
like this is the style of farm, and this is years back. It's like this is what farming is supposed to be from a chef's perspective.
Okay.
From a human's perspective, like this is the farm that you want on your table. And those standards haven't changed at all. And that was back in the day, doing high-end things. That's the idea. And Erich kind of touched on it, like most chefs are expressing their creativity.
Yeah.
And how they can illustrate their creativity through high-end farm-to-table cuisine using those farms with those standards, those high-end standards.
Sure.
But the ability to take the standards of the farm and translate them to a casual cuisine
Yeah.
that anybody can have.
Yeah.
Anybody can come in and taste that freshness, taste that cleanness.
Yeah. That seems so basic.
It seems basic.
It seems like that's where this all got its start. Family farms with the, pioneers, the people, moving out west, and they, set up their own farm and ranch. They're growing their own produce, and then literally that day, it's, they're putting it on their food.
Exactly. It's not, fresh, good farm goods, fresh produce grown in a responsible manner. Shouldn't be reserved for anybody in particular.
There we go. Yeah.
Like you said, there was a time where a lot of people grew their own food.
Sure. Do you think that's coming back a little?
For sure. For the people that want to.
At least in people's hearts and minds, they want to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
There's
having a garden's one of the best things you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
The what you're growing is generally always going to be better, and it just also gets you, like, even if you're just growing some herbs, growing some grains, the idea just growing anything, making sure growing your own food is a wildly powerful thing to do as a human.
Absolutely. My kids love. And even the process of, planting an herb, maybe basil or something in a pot on the back porch, right? And then being able to see that grow, and they took care of it to whatever extent, right? Hey, don't forget to water the plants. And then being able to say, hey, let's make a little caprese salad, or, put some basil leaves on our pizza that we just took out of the oven. They love that. How cool is that to be able to see? And they're always asking, hey, can we plant this seed in the backyard, and will it grow into a tree? Those kinds of things.
Only one way to find out.
Exactly. I might have some apple trees coming. We'll see. But yeah, that is powerful.
Absolutely. Because you did that. You nurtured something, and it came back, and it nurtured you. Either, whether that's health-wise or palate-wise,
Sure.
Basil gave you some beautiful, intense flavor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You did that. It's a wild thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Love seeing what you're doing with the menu. And I think Tom Hanks' character would say bravo, because you do offer a cup of soup and a slice of pie. I think, isn't that...
No soup yet.
No soup yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
We're waiting for winter.
Let's get to it.
Next winter.
All right, next winter. All right, I spoke too soon. And what's the next iteration? What else is coming from the diner that we should expect to see and get a little excited about?
So we're fortunate enough to be able to service the Eastmark community pool. So we're gonna be running food. We'll do fun, like some
Oh, wow.
fun summer specials. Might do a hot dog cart out there as well.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
The idea is kind of treat it as a resort vibe.
Yeah.
From our end. So if you're out there and you're hungry, you're thirsty, you're gonna order food, and we'll deliver it to you as if you're at some nice pool resort.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe take the mic, Eric, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about those dinners, or if you've got more planned, if that's going to
Sure.
be kind of a perpetuating thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of fun ideas that it's just finding the right time to implement them or try them. And but yeah, we've now done 2 of these kind of farm dinner, elevated dinner experience. So we're doing them once a month, and the idea is
Oh wow, once a month, all year round.
we're going to take the summer off.
Yeah, okay.
So, we have one coming up that we're getting ready to announce for April.
Okay.
Kind of around Earth Day. And then we hope to do one more in May. And then we'll take June, July, August, maybe September off.
Yeah.
Because they're outdoors and that.
Sure.
We want everybody to have an enjoyable time. But yeah, we've done now 2 of them. The first one, Derek and team cooked kind of it solo, and we did kind of a Valentine's Day theme to kind of
That's right.
just kind of work through things and that. And then this last week we did our second one with guest chef friend Jeff Krause of Crate Bar. And that's kind of the idea. We want to bring in our friends, again, these same partners, from ingredients to cooks, to kind of share this experience with the community and that.
Yeah.
And so we did a 5-course meal with paired natural wines, and it was a good time. We limited it to 48 people.
Yep.
And they usually sell out fairly quick.
Yep.
But it's a pretty great bargain for what we charge for that, and that for the experience. And we do a farm tour and then do this meal, and it's
nice.
It's a good time. So we'll do one this coming up in April that we're getting ready to announce. So keep an eye out for that. And,
Yep. And what about I know I've heard you talk about breakfast or brunch.
Yeah. So we would love to. I think breakfast in a diner seems very cohesive, I suppose, and
it's
necessary.
It's
very American.
Come
yeah. And we have a menu ready to go.
Yeah.
That I'm pretty excited about. But it's been very busy with the opening, and which we're grateful for. But when we're already here at 6 a.m. prepping for lunch and dinner, it's a lot to ask of our team, and just again the constraints of the space to how we do breakfast. And so, like everything we do, we want to be thoughtful and do them well, and so not rush into it. And so when we do breakfast, it's gonna, I think we'll do it. We want to make sure we do it right in that. And so I think hopefully this summer we'll be able to at least roll that out for the weekends. But we're just waiting for the right time and that. And but it'll be some kind of traditional dinery breakfast things, but then some more modern and more healthy dishes too, which is kind of what we've done with lunch and dinner. With we have burgers and sandwiches, but then we also have our salads and grain bowls and things like that. So there's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
From full, people have no restrictions to gluten-free or vegetarian or vegan. Like there's something for everybody, which has been really important, and that will continue to carry through the menu.
That's great. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Let's wrap up with this. I kind of want to hear just a little bit about the vision behind this place and what you hope to see from Steadfast Diner, even 5, 10 plus years from now. And kind of that community integration that we're already seeing and feeling with the diner and the farm and the coffee shop. How do you see that continuing to expand and deepen in the future? Eric, you can start, and then Derek, I'd love to get your take on it as we wrap up.
Sure. The farm and having a farm in a community has always been very intentional with reconnecting people with where their food comes from. Yeah. And ever since from the beginning, we've always had that in mind. And when you're talking about master plan communities and that, and there's the theory for amenities is always swimming pools and golf courses and playgrounds, and those are wonderful things. But how special is it to then, bring in a farm, and do something a little different. And so that was where this started with. And, we have the, amazing partners with, Brookfield as the developer.
Sure.
And they've been incredible to work with, have nothing but good things. And they've been super supportive of all the things we've done. But so we've kind of started with that, and to use a pun, let it grow organically, right? And so we purposely design and build small spaces because we want them to feel abundant what they are. And if you try to do too much, it can feel empty and hollow. And we just want the heart and the feel of that to come through. And so our farm store, again, is so teeny tiny, but when you go in there and we have, products from 50 different local artisans, it feels very abundant and full of soul, And so, starting with the farm and then adding the farm store. And initially we were only open a couple days a week for a few hours, and it was pretty empty, and it's grown and grown. And then, through COVID and people kind of reconnecting with local food, that, gained some momentum. And then we did that kind of self-serve kiosk model for a while, that was great until the teenagers figured out they could get free snacks from us, and so we had to change that, and adding the coffee shop, and then now pulling all those together, it's become this hub of the community where, and we have tables set up in the landscaping essentially. It's just very bootstrappy, and I like that feel because it's not polished, but it's authentic. So it means a lot to see people, come over and just hang out at the tables in front of the, the shed basically, which is what is the farm store and that. And so now with the diner, we've always seen, and I've been involved with the diner since even before the farm, because I was working with a developer to kind of help them find their original operators and stuff like that. So I've had a connection to it from day one, and always seen such incredible potential for it. And there has been a couple different renditions of it, different operators and that, and we just felt like it was too important to the community. And so I didn't really need something else to do in my life, but just felt like the community deserved to see this thing kind of live up to its potential. And that's maybe being sounding arrogant. That wasn't, that's not, we didn't know. We were hoping for the best and doing our best to do it, and just do it thoughtfully. And the beautiful thing about business and commerce is, you put something out there, and if people like it, they'll support it, and if they don't, then you got to do something different.
Right.
And the community has been super gracious and supporting, and we're super grateful for that. And so it's just to kind of tie all the things together. So we have this almost like this destination of farm store, coffee shop, diner, where you can come and spend half a day, and we're very humbled when we hear people traveling from even out of state now to come and visit things like that, which is, we never really, that wasn't on our radar of things, that thinking that people would spend their hard-earned money and time to come visit us and that. But some people are, and we're grateful. So what do you got to add, Derek?
Let's let you have the last word, Derek, and tell us.
To add to that, I mean, the future, tomorrow, down the road, we've been open a couple months now, and it's been incredible. Sorry, listen to Bill back there. The horseradish. Where'd the horseradish go? Keep it down, Bill.
It's all good. Hey, we're in a diner. This is great. This is
absolutely.
Authentic.
So what we're looking forward to, we're lucky enough to have already seen it. It is feeding the community.
Yeah.
Like Eric said, we got people from out of state. We have people from all over the valley.
Sure.
Which is a beautiful thing. People that are traveling to come see us and hear about it. That's kind of, for me, one of the ideas of this is proving. William! Shush!
Almost done. It's all good. They got to do their work.
They do.
They got to get ready for lunch.
And that guy turned 70 yesterday. He's fantastic.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
He's one of our prep cooks. Incredible dude.
Oh man, I love it.
But yeah, so what we're looking forward to, we've already done, or we've already seen a little bit. So people come here from all over the valley because it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And part of what I love about this is using or proving that this platform, this style of farm to table cuisine can work.
That's right.
Obviously, it works better if you're 20 feet from the farm.
That's helpful. Yeah,
that's helpful. But you can still utilize the same platform to create a restaurant in which you are involving the entire community.
Yeah.
Involving all the different purveyors that hold those same ethos and standards that you are.
Yeah.
And you can do that to feed the people, for the community itself.
Yeah.
So, long term, it's about keeping the community content or engaged, I suppose. Not even engaged, but just giving them a place that they can come to, giving them great hospitality.
Yeah.
Giving them great food.
Yeah.
And the community's already showed up for us, and we just plan on, as cool it is to get certain things, we're not here to win any awards. We're here to feed people.
I love that, and that's we'll kind of end with that. I think that's one of the things that I would definitely say is very evident here is the thoughtfulness. You've used that word a few times, Erich, and I think anyone that's been around you and now Derek and the Steadfast brand, we'll call it. I think thoughtfulness is a real integral part of that, and I think that's one thing I would share with people who ask is, I heard they changed hands. There's new ownership, whatever. It's more than a fresh coat of paint on the outside. It's more than a brand update. There's really a deeper level here that you guys are putting your heart and soul into this and have a vision to really bring farm to table to life for the everyman and anyone and everyone, and be a part of the community in a very non-ostentatious way. That, hey, we're here, we're with you, we want to feed you healthy foods. If you like that, great, come and enjoy, and let's have some fun while we're doing it. So I think that's huge.
Absolutely.
And you've got a great crew and a great team. Everyone is so awesome and kind. My brother and I have sat right here, had a drink late at night, and they were wrapping up and cleaning up, and the bartender was just so conversational and sweet.
Yeah, definitely thoughtfulness. Another way to put it, intentionality.
There you go.
Everything that we have done, we've thought, maybe overthought, based off of,
even the music. I mean, it comes on right at 10, and it's good folk track during the day, and it's soft lo-fi in the evening.
Oh, we have deep discussions about what makes the list and what doesn't make the list.
Exactly. I love that.
The intentionality of everything, and that comes down to the team as well, and how we treat the team, and there's every ounce of this restaurant and what we do. There's intentionality behind it all.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for pouring your heart and soul into this, and for the ways that you are honestly just feeding us and making a great menu. My wife, at least once a week, is like, Ruben from Steadfast? I said, yes. Mm-hmm. Always yes. Mm-hmm. So, cool. Well, thank you, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun to just sit down and catch up, and I know our audience is going to love hearing from you guys, and we'll see you soon. I'll be sitting right over there, I'm sure.
Hey, thanks for having us.
All right, guys. See you. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the latest and greatest of all about Eastmark. And if you really liked it, share it with a friend. Hey, thanks for listening. See you around Eastmark.